And we are live and in living color. What's going on, everybody out there in the internet land? We have an awesome guest today. Somebody that I have been talking to for some time, a fellow Southwestern individual.
Yep.
We got Copper Johns Tyson in the house. What is going on? How are you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, doing good. Hanging in there. Busy day.
Just
busy
it's
day.
my son's birthday today. He turned 9, and so we went to Buffalo Wild Wings today for lunch. And after this, we're going to go to a place called Sequest. It's an aquarium, kind of like a zoo, but it's just an aquarium only. And they have sloths though, and bird refuge place and stuff. But they have a place where you dip your hands in, and they have like these fish that are like minnow size, like minnow. And they'll just eat your hands, and they get rid of it, and they'll use your skin particles as food, and so it's really cool.
I think I've done that before. It's been a while since I've done that. I think I've done that before.
Yeah, they sell like a $10 pedicure thing where you sit down and you put your feet in it, and I'm just like, dude, I just couldn't do it. It freaks me out.
That is different. Have you ever done the ray? Where you feed the rays at like SeaWorld or
I have not.
Aquarium. That's a different experience. Have you done that, James?
I haven't, no.
It's a weird, it's like they have like rake teeth. So it's kind of like these teeth that just kind of rake the food up, and it's a weird sensation. It's like a sucking, and then you can feel kind of their teeth kind of getting the food off of your hand. And you have like a squid, and you put it in between your fingers like this, and you hold it up. And they just come over, they suck it up, and then they grab the squid off your hand.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, you do it.
I remember going to SeaWorld and feeding the otters, and they'd sell us, that little cup of whatever fish.
Yeah.
For like $5, you go and feed it. And I remember just taking one out, and all of a sudden a seagull just took it. And I'm like, wait, what?
I know exactly where you're talking about, and I know exactly what happened. So the one in San Diego, right?
Yeah, the one in San Diego. It just literally just took it right out of my hands before I could throw it to the
they wait otters. There for that. Yeah, they wait for people to just kind of hang out and not be. And those are just the rats of the world. Those are rat with wings.
Yeah,
I don't care how pigeons.
And that's Utah state bird. What? It really is.
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, seagull.
Because of the Great Salt Lake we have other birds here that are cool.
All right.
That are cooler than that. We could do an owl. Why don't we do an owl?
Yeah. Let's do the one that hangs out at the dump. At the,
Yeah. What's going on, James?
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, there's Daniel. What's going on, buddy? So, hey, James, what's going on, buddy? How are you?
Not much, man. Yeah, it's been a busy day. I got off work probably about 4:00, 4:30. Just went to the store, got some things done. Really just been running around before I got home.
Very cool.
All the grocery shopping type stuff and like other fun stuff. But yeah, other than that, I'm doing good. Just been busy. Busy with stuff around here with girlfriend and her health stuff going on. So
what's going on? Can we? Okay, so okay. So she's doing okay though.
Yeah, she's doing good.
Good.
You're a good man, James.
You are a good man. Taking care of loved ones.
It was her birthday. It was her birthday on the 8th, and so we celebrated her birthday on Sunday. So we had I was up early in the morning, 7:45, and I was nonstop going till at night. I didn't really even get a chance to sit down until I sat in my car. Anywhere I went, that was my sit down. I was just sitting in my car and going places. But yeah, I didn't come till 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. So I was out. It's good thing I had the next day off, so I slept in pretty good.
Good for you.
That's good.
I'm trying to see what I would look like if I was bald. So my forehead's gotten a lot bigger, so I'm just like, yeah, that's what it looks like.
That's funny.
I would not be a handsome bald person. Yeah, Ken and all those guys that are like, wow, okay, you look good. Me,
you think about yourself being bald, and it's like, can I do it? Can I rock it?
Yeah, I just right there. I can't. I just found out.
I know. I got a crew cut, and then a couple years back, and when I did, my wife noticed that I have the little hot dogs in the back, and she's like, "That's not a good look." I'm like, grow back. So the bigger question is, we always bring a little bit of desserts. Not always the guest, but that's okay, Tyson. But what did you bring today for desserts, Mr. James? I know.
I did the cookie thing again, and I made some like pumpkin spice, like snickerdoodles.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Please.
You know what? Go ahead. What do you got, Tyson?
Store bought what M&M cookies.
That works.
There you
That
go.
works. Well, Nabisco.
Yeah. Well, those are my son's favorites. His birthday, so.
There you go. You can't beat that. So here is what we are doing. So we are making Christmas ornament cookies.
Okay.
These are salt based, so you would not eat them. But this is a cowboy hat, and we have a antique booth that sells Western stuff. And then this is a cowboy boot. And so what we do is we kind of put some dye on it so they can become brown. And we haven't done that process yet. But what we do, then we stick them with like some string. And then we hang them as Christmas tree ornaments. And then we sell them to people at our antique. So Christy has a antique booth in an antique store up in Camp Verde, Arizona. And we decorate the booth, and then they sell those for like $3 or $4 or something. But
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. And so that's what we've been doing in the dessert, even though it's not a dessert that I would ever eat, but it is, you're still cutting them out, doing the process of cookie cutting. You have a cookie cutter, and then you roll out the dough, you're cookie cutting it. The reason why you use the salt is so that it preserves it, so you can use it next year. We have we made gingerbread men one year, and we still have them like 5 years later. And because of what you put into it, the preservative, they don't go bad. So, and then you put like a glaze, like a glaze over the top of it so that it keeps it. Yeah.
So you is that what you like to do on your free time? Is cook and bake?
I love cooking. I have a degree in hotel restaurant management, so absolutely was gonna think. I thought that's my focus was restaurants actually before I became an IT engineer, but I realized that, as James realized, it's a hard business. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of hours on the weekend. When you have a family going on, it is extremely difficult, long hours. You're getting there. Sometimes it depends on what your restaurant is, but you can get there anywhere between 4 a.m. And then if you have a bar, you're there till 1.
Yeah. So you're a small batched beer company?
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's a crazy business. And I did that I actually got out of the restaurant side and then went into the hotel side and I was an executive housekeeper at the Embassy Suites in Flagstaff for like a year and a half. So different than when you're a manager of something, is so different than when you're just the employee.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
And so it was a difficult situation because I had a lot of housekeepers. I had like 20 to 30 housekeepers that were underneath me, and it was a good time, but it was a lot of hard work. And again, it was like 6 a.m. till 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And it's a love, I love doing it, but at the same time, I had a young family, and then my ex-wife now, but she got pregnant with my first daughter, and I was like, I got to find something different and so I found the company that I work for now.
Okay.
And I've been working there I just turned 23 years.
I just found some hooks.
Oh, there you go. What'd you find?
A couple of lures, some spinners.
There you go.
Not even open. I wonder when I bought these.
See, that's so me and Tyson share, and anybody who knows Copper Johns is because of the Copper John fly.
Yeah.
But me and him share that passion of fishing. So do you fish, James, at all?
It's in a while. I mean,
he's got the nipple rings.
Yeah, I haven't tried the nipple ring fishing.
This is the dumbest video I've ever made in my life.
That was so awesome. I was like, he got the entire family to do it.
Oh yeah, like everyone, even the extended family with their kids out in the water in the lake. It was hilarious. So
good. So good.
The video was like a minute, and then the outtakes, just me laughing because I couldn't say nipple ring.
Oh my word, that was an awesome. Do you remember that, James?
Oh yeah, the nipple video.
They're in there. The son who comes out.
I remember watching it and then messaging him. I go, "That was hilarious!" Like, it was him with his son trying to be like, trying to tell you like the family, like
the family fishing method.
Oh, so stupid.
And him like not cracking up laughing. I was like, I don't know if I could do it.
No, really. And that was not even half of them. I'm like, if I showed the whole thing, it'd be like an hour long.
With all the outtakes.
Yeah.
That was one of the best videos. There's a couple videos that Ken Bluegrass does as well that I thought were absolutely hilarious as well. But that one, I was not expecting it. That was what it was. I was like watching it. I was just not expecting that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about the family secret.
Yeah, when your wife questions like, why did you buy $20 at Amazon for plastic fish? I'm like, oh, you wait.
You're involved too. You don't know it yet.
She's like, you're an idiot.
That's right. That's what we're supposed to be.
Yeah.
That was one of the best. So Caden, just to throw that out. So me and Caden were trying to do some stupid video. So there's like one video that I did, and Caden wouldn't do it. He's like, "This is cheesy, Dad. I don't want to do this." He said it was ratchet or something like that, or whatever that meant. And I was like, "Does that mean good?" She's like, "No, this is a horrible idea." So I was going to go, it was Miner's Beard Company. And I went into the backyard and I was going to be mining for beard oil. And Caden wouldn't even get in the shot. You couldn't hear him. So I'm like, "Hey, what are you doing there?" "I don't know. I'm not in the picture." So I have these outtakes where it's just like, you can see that we tried to do this and I'm digging something. And then Caden's just not, you can just hear this off screen kind of small voice saying, and I'm like, oh. It's one of those ones where you thought you shot everything perfect and then you went back to the video and you're like, no, we can't do this one. I guess we're just gonna have to do a review.
Yeah, no, I'm my family's the toy opposite. It's like, I want to be in the video. I want to be in not this time. You're in the next one.
That's
so
awesome.
my daughter and I are going to be doing one tomorrow. So
good.
I like to do one maybe one every month. So we'll do another one tomorrow, and I'll probably post it on Sunday.
Oh, that's awesome. So you guys have your own YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, Copper John has one.
Yeah, that's cool.
I didn't know what we were going to use it for, but now we kind of do.
Right.
Family videos, that kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, cool. Very cool.
I would like to do lives eventually there and stuff like that, but I got to focus on growing everything right now. And so that's my plan.
How is that going for you? So you just started in March, right?
No, July 1st was my
July 1st. I knew it was really quick. I was giving you a little bit more time. So July 1st, and you hit the ground running. Like, yeah. You bolted. I have seen very few companies that got that much view time in a long time. What do you think the secret to your success was?
Don't know. I think people like James was the first person, and the 4 Beardsmen and Cody Seabreezy. Those 6 are actually the first ones who tried it. And the Ionic Inland Sea Minerals, which are not they're not a gimmick, they're real. And
right.
I think that something unique like that caught off guard. And then Copper John's, it was a different name, and they I don't know. And then also I don't know what. I just I was caught off guard. I was thinking, like, I work hard. Don't get me wrong. This is this is a second job, and it's a second job. Gary knows he's in here.
He is in here.
And
I know how hard that wet man works. He's crazy busy too.
You know, Gary's 20 times busier than I am, and I hope to be that busy one day. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the secret recipe is. All I know is my goal is to make everyone's customer experience good and elite. And, you know, I want to have a top-end product and a top-end quality, and hopefully everyone gets to experience that.
Right. And that's one of the biggest things that I will say that I took away from talking to you. I mean, we become friends now.
Absolutely.
But at this point. But I think that you kind of have that open, like the fact that your videos are opening your family. This is my family. We're crazy. We're fun. I think that entices people to feel like, hey, I understand that. I dig that. You know, I think that's a really great idea. It makes you feel like you're part of the family, you know?
Yeah. And see, and I did sales. I've done sales. I did sales for 2006 to 2018. So 12 years. And I taught college for 9 years. And I just feel like what I learned is you just be yourself. And everyone can see through fake. You know what I mean? And so I've been told, I'm like, dude, you're too nice. Like this is fake. Like, I'm like, no, this is just really who I am. If I give you a compliment, it's because I really feel that way. I'm not, you know, that type of thing. So when I say like, you freaking stud, I'm like, no, you're a stud, man. I appreciate it. So like Corey's on there, and Corey's a stud, and so is Gary and Josh. Like all these guys are like, truthfully, like I really appreciate all of them, and it's very humbling. And I was telling, who did I tell? Ken? No, Adrian? Maybe, I don't know. I was telling someone that so this community is small, and actually it might have been Corey. This community is small, and you know, I don't want to. How do I put? I want to continue selling to this community. However, I want to branch out. The branching out, I want them to be my customers. The community, I want them to be my friends. Does that make sense?
Oh, that totally makes sense. Yeah.
And so I want to always be able to, hey, call someone up and say, hey, you know, you want to go hang out? I want that type of friendship within the community. And then outside of everything, I'm not going to meet Joe Schmo out of, you know, UK. I'm grateful that you bought me, but we're not going to have that relationship like I am going to have with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
it totally does, and I think that we appreciate that. That James, and if you can correct me the reason why I'm in this beard community is for what exactly you're talking about. It's that brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I was looking that I lacked with a lot of the groups that I'm in. I'm in IT groups. And a lot of guys, but you know, there wasn't a brotherhood of IT dudes. You know, there kind of here there is. there's a subgroup of IT guys that is in the bearded community that we talk geek stuff. But the real reason why is because I found a brotherhood, and you know, James is part of that. Tyson, you are part of that. Gary's part of that. You know, everybody that I communicate with on a daily basis is really part of that, and I really have appreciated that. And I get exactly why you would say, hey, these are my brothers. These are the people that I say, these are my kindred spirits. These are the people that they get me. Right.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like Healthy Bearded. If you ever watched his stuff, I get a lot of feedback. Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, it's probably, I'm trying to think if it's somebody has their stuff open. Do you have your YouTube open?
Oh, I'm good. My stuff's quiet.
Yeah, mine is too. But I can't hear the feedback. So
yeah, not just when I talk, it's when everyone talks. What were we saying?
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Hang on. Did it go away?
Oh, yeah, nope, still there.
That's weird.
You know what doesn't make sense? James didn't send me any of those cookies. No, but what I was talking about Healthy Bearded, it's like he's just as new to the bearded community, but he is very infectious. His personality, the way he talks to people on his live streams has been very, very fun. And I really, really like his personality. Daniel's been fun to listen to. Corey, I talk to Corey probably I do talk to Corey every day. Adrian, I talk to every day. Gary, I probably talk to about once every 2 weeks, if that. Just because we just haven't connected yet, really.
Super
but I do
busy.
know that Gary has my back, and that's appreciated too.
Yeah, well, I can tell you that that's the one thing that you get out of this community is everybody has, especially the people you're closest to, but everybody has your back. I mean, I could call up James and say, hey, I'm really needing some cookies, and he may not send me any.
Well, this is long enough.
But he would send me some moral support.
Hey, what's up, Ken? How you doing?
Hey, Ken.
No, but I talk to Adrian right there. I talk to him every day as well. I seem to talk to you almost every day too, Andy.
Yeah.
James and I used to talk, and then he found someone better. So his girlfriend. Someone has to spend time with his girlfriend, I guess.
Well, that happens.
His work and taking care of his girlfriend.
It was all good until that girlfriend. Yeah. So how supportive is your family of this? It seems like they're pretty supportive of, but this is a lot of hours. Was your wife prepared for as many hours as you were spending doing this?
I wasn't prepared. I'm being truthful. I didn't realize the money it was going to take. It's not cheap. I mean, Gary and Corey both are there. They can attest. I didn't realize. Like, I knew I would get sales, but I didn't realize how quickly they would happen. I was hoping that people would like my product. I didn't realize that everyone would immediately. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, and then with my family, my wife is my rock. Like, she's there with me, and I'll go to sleep because I'll have to wake up at 5, and she'll be up until 3 or 4 just packaging everything. She is amazing. And then my kids, they're all like, Dad, what do we get today? How many sales? Okay, what can I do? All that kind of stuff. And they want to get all involved. When are we doing the next video? Dad, I want to do the next video. That type of stuff. So we come up with all the ideas. Like, my daughter came up with this next one. So I think you'll like it. It's her. She's a huge tumbler. She's an elite tumbler. Like, she's going to, it's not in New Zealand. It's right next to New Zealand. What's next to New Zealand?
Australia. What's the?
You say it's a weird country name that I'm not familiar with as I should be. But anyway, she's going to Worlds there. Like, she's 10 years old, and she's top 5 right now in the country. Like, she's elite. It's freaking a lot of money, but she is elite. And so she came up with an idea where she's going to do some tumbling, and she's going to it'll be funny. You'll have to see it.
Oh, I love it. And then Are you the master? Are you the storyteller? Are you the one that's coming up with the script, or is she helping you? Or
this was all her. My son, when we were around the campfire, that was all him. The first one was all me with the bearded guy crying because no one likes a bearded guy. Because I don't know how people are like, dude, you look so intimidating until I get to know you. Then you're fine. But it's just like, you're a big guy. I'm 6'3" and 300 pounds. And I guess I look mean. And then, so I made a video on that. And then, the nipple rings was my son and I's idea. So
the song, the jingle was pretty funny too.
That's right. And that was him. And that was 100% him. We didn't even, I totally forgot about that one. He's like, Dad, we should come up with a jingle. I'm like, do you know what you're going to sing? And he came up with them right on the spot. And then when he's like, it helps follicle growth, I'm like, you are such a nerd, buddy.
I love it. So that me and Caden do this together, and so
oh yeah, I love it.
So that's my thing. I probably would have gotten out of this a little bit ago, maybe been in the community, but not doing the reviews but me and Caden have so much fun doing these, and it's like our bonding. And I was hesitating because I had talked to Dan a bit ago, and I was like, my growth just isn't going anywhere. I'm not moving. I'm not shaking, I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of stale. And then he gave me some tips, and then I was telling Caden what I wanted to do to kind of maybe build it. He's like, "You're taking away the unboxings? That's my favorite thing." And I'm like, "All right, we'll keep them in there."
Yeah.
And it's it's that 15-20 minutes, and it's actually like that hour, right, of planning out what we're gonna say, and just kind of being father son for a moment. And it's nice, and it actually kind of almost is like a friendship almost.
Oh yeah.
I don't have to tell him he's just funny. Every once in a while I have to say, "Hey, stop making that noise." You don't have to. I don't know. Would your boys, when they grew up, where they just went through this phase where they had to make noises all the time?
Oh, they're still there. My son's 16 and he'll just randomly start singing opera. I'm like, dude, what the freak are you doing? I'm like, I gotta record this and show all your friends.
It's like,
That's awesome.
No, but yeah, when we were doing the nipple ring video, that was probably one of the funnest days we ever did, because it was so stupid and everyone wanted to be involved, and so we made a day out of it. It's James. He just muted himself.
Is it
Yeah,
me?
that is.
Yeah.
As soon as you muted yourself, it went away.
Yeah, no, but
I think it's when Tyson, I don't know if it's Tyson is speaking because I'm on my phone. It's coming throughout my speaker. I'm not sure if that's distorting it
it's
as well.
picking up. Yep, it's picking it up. Yep. I don't know why it's doing that, but
no, we made it a whole day, and it was the funnest day. And then, like I said, when we were at our home at our kitchen table, we were there from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m., 4 hours trying to do that 20-second clip that we couldn't get through.
The one where you're at the table, the one at the table.
Just talking about, hey, this is why we were wearing nipple rings. I couldn't do it. I was laughing so hard. I was crying.
That was one of the funniest things.
So I really enjoyed making those with my kids.
See, that's the whole thing. That's the beauty of this, is if you can include. I know that like Gary Lewis, who's Chesapeake, he did a scent with his son for one of his friends, and it was cancer awareness. One of his friends had cancer and passed away now, but he made the scent with him, and it's something that's very special between them two, that they were able to create that, especially for that occasion. I think that those type of things help bond us over time, and I love the fact that you're including your family. It just kind of solidifies you as a solid company, solid character, I think, in my opinion.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we have lots of fun as a family. You got to.
There's so many fun, and how many kids do you have? 6. You're right there with me. Yes. You know that there's never a dull moment with 6 kids.
Oh, dude. Sometimes you just want them, though, right? Sometimes you're like, dude, just go to bed. And then they get all happy, 16, and then they get all happy and all excited. And you're like, okay, I'm so glad you're happy. So glad you're excited. Shut up.
Exactly.
I'm just like, dude, enough of being happy. Just leave me alone.
We had the blended family, but for 10 years we were all together. My kids just kind of recently left, and we're ranging from like, I think it's like 28, 29 now, down to 11. Caden's 11. But when the kids were little, oh my word, I think we all got together when they were in, I think Shannon, who's my now 20-year-old, was like in 2nd grade. And oh my goodness, good times. It was so fun. And I just remember there were moments where you're just like, what did you do? What? So I had one of my favorite stories is I had my oldest daughter we wouldn't let her dress like gothic. So she was like, I'm not dressing like gothic. I want to dress like goth. I want to be goth. We said, no, we're not buying you that stuff. You're not going to go as, a goth kid. So she, in defiance, got a black and purple glove and would hide it in her backpack, and then would go to school with this glove. She's goth. Darn it. She's going to be goth. And then we found it, and then we just started calling her Goth Reese, which she hated. So then that was the end of that short-lived goth thing, but it was just fun. I just remember funny stories. There's just so many when you have that many kids. There's just, you take them to a store and there's like craziness always.
Oh,
Right.
so the funniest thing now, at the time, I'm just like, this is the worst thing ever. It's so gross. So my son was 9 months old, and he was constipated. Like he hadn't gone to the bathroom forever. And so finally, I went to the doctor. I'm like, "Okay, what do we do?" And he said, "Go to the pharmacy, get a suppository, and you put it in his bum," which was fun. So we did that, and literally, I got in the shower that morning, and all of a sudden, my wife's like, "Tyson, come here!" and like just screamed. And so we're talking about 20 yards at least. He was laying down, and he pooped, and it sprayed everything. I mean, like everything. And it was like I'm just like a proud moment. Like you're like, hey, I'm getting my camera because at the time it was like one of those digital cameras using the high 8 stuff. And I'm like, I am filming this for like no one will believe this. And it was yeah, it was just like, and then what's funny is the same kid, like a couple years later, he's like, oh, I hurt. And I'm like, my wife's gone, she's not there. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? And like his stomach, I'm like, maybe his appendix or something. His stomach was hard, like you couldn't even push it. Like it was just hard as a rock. So I'm like, okay, I'm taking him to the ER. Took him, and got right through the entrance, and all of a sudden, and like 20-second fart. And I'm just like, oh, at least we didn't have to pay the $100 copay to say, hey, he has gas. So those are a lot. I have a lot of those stories.
That's what happens with kids. I mean, we just have ER stories with somebody. I can't. We've been to the ER so many times over. I mean, bug bites. I had one daughter that we were at a 4th of July thing for watching some fireworks, and some spider bit her arm. And Arizona or Southwest, anything that bites you here will kill you almost. So she had something. It was like, we think it was a black widow or a baby brown recluse or something, because it made like a huge hole in her arm.
Did it go black?
Yeah, it was like
probably a brown recluse.
Yeah, so we think it was she just got lucky because it was small. And then we had to, and it had just like we had to put little gauze in it. It was so horrible. We're just like, how does that even happen? We go to the park that we go to at all time, and she gets bit by the one spider that's there that can cause you to go to the
Is he cutting out, or is it just me?
ER. Woods. Where are you guys at in Utah?
Do you know? So you know where Salt Lake is? So you go 30 minutes north of Salt Lake.
Did I cut out?
I think. Yeah. So we live 30 minutes north of Salt Lake, right where Antelope Island is. If you know where that is, we're about 45 minutes from Park City, 30 minutes from Salt Lake.
Oh wow! Is this still cutting out on you?
No, you're good now.
Okay, good. Weird. So
do this. That'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. Hey. So that's it. So that it's not so deserty there, right?
It depends on where you are. I mean, we have the salt flats where everything's dead. I mean, that's where they have. If you go to any of the racing shows, like movies and stuff, they're all in the salt flats. That's where they try to break the speed barrier or the sound barrier and stuff like that. That's where Hill Air Force Base is, right up the street, and they'll fly there. F-35s over, actually probably around where you guys are from here, and all this area, just to make sure that they can break the sound barrier here, because if they break it over us, it's so loud. It's like a big bomb that goes off, and it's happened a couple of times where we think something exploded and it was just an airplane breaking the sound barrier.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I've been, so my dad's Air Force, was Air Force for years. So I miss the planes flying over. I was at Davis-Monthan, which is in Tucson, this last weekend. I saw some, like, I think it was F-35s or something like that down there. It was fun to see them. It was good to see them, and it was just like, this is an Air Force town. Yes.
Well, if any of you guys are anyone in the chat or anything in the summer, if you're here, they have a golf course up on base, and I can get on, because that's where I work and everything. And it's from hole number 4. It's about 10 yards from the strip where they take off and land, and it's awesome. Intense. It is like, dude, I would never go to war with us. Like it's that cool. It's like it's powerful. Like you feel it in your whole body.
I do know those. Yeah, especially if
You
you
know that sound, right? Like you
I
just
do
know
know that
it's
sound. I
just
used to be at an
power.
F-111 base. Yeah, I used to be at an
Okay.
F, and it was just loud. Those things were incredibly loud.
Yeah, it's dude. You're just like, whoa, man. There's some of those movies that you see and stuff like that, and it's about special forces and the documentaries and stuff. What the things that American can do. I'm like, dude, why would you mess with us? I'm like, Iran, shut up and just do what we're telling you because we like quit
No
trying to
doubt.
kill everyone.
Yeah, no doubt. So you work on base.
I do.
Now? Were you in the Air Force?
No, I was not. So
But
I
you're
talked.
a
Yeah, I'm the training coordinator up there. I'm in charge of the curriculum and stuff like that. So basically, I taught college for almost 10 years, and you know, I wanted something different, and so I got the teaching role up there, in charge of the teaching and the curriculum and stuff like that.
for the flight school, right? Or for
I'm not allowed to tell you what I teach, just that I do it.
Oh, okay. Very good. I get it.
Or I have to kill you.
Yep.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, no, it's part of that. I get it. So you're not teaching for University of Maryland, or that's what I was alluding to, because there's the hey, I'm doing some training with the F-35 stuff, or the actual military personnel doing actual jobs, and then there's like University of Maryland, which is I'm going to get my online degree or my schooling.
It'd be nice if I got I wouldn't mind. Well, I couldn't do it now, but I like doing the what are they called? Why am I blinking? With the teaching at night, what are they called?
Oh, the professors, professor jobs at night. Yeah.
What are they called? I'm blinking.
I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway. It's going to come to me after all this is done. I'm like, oh, so dumb. Why didn't I think that?
So I actually thought about actually doing that because I have my master's. So I was thinking about teaching IT after when I kind of get settled down, the kids kind of get out. I was thinking about doing some.
So the most boring class ever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It'd be like, here's how to program.
/ / com ...
Exactly. Exactly.
This is how you program.
I would be exciting though, because I'm a YouTuber now and I have exciting things to say. I tell people.
Yeah. And then we're all like, I disagree.
I disagree. It's still programming. Still programming. So, James, do you have any questions for Mr. Copper with Tyson here?
No, actually, I do have Summer Citrus in today. Actually, I'm wearing his stuff today. So
nice.
Nothing weird. So,
what's your go-to, James?
I have the Mountain River and Summer Citrus. I think it's both are good scents. Summer Citrus is pretty good though. I like the citrus.
That's cool. Yeah. So take me through so we'll go a little bit into your company. So Inland Sea Minerals, controversial as it was, I've done a lot of, not anymore, but as it was, but now we're kind of sitting at a month out, 2 months out from that. But that was what made you decide, hey, I'm going to do a beard oil company and I'm going to put some different ingredients. What made you think Inland Sea Minerals, even though I know it's right there?
Yeah, no. When I was creating my formula and working it and tweaking it and working it, and mind you, I've been doing it for a long time, not just now. But I was, a sales manager for a contract manufacturer for nutraceuticals and pharmaceuticals. I mean, I haven't kept that a secret. And within that, there was a company that did a food-based nutraceutical or pharmaceutical, that was for cancer patients that needed help to get what they needed in their body because they couldn't eat anything due to chemotherapy and stuff like that. And part of that was the minerals. And it was the first time I ever got introduced to them. And I had to do a lot of research for it. I had to find out what they are, what they're good for, why do we want them in here? Why won't they work with gel caps? Because, a lot of stuff you want to use gel caps because it's easier on the body and stuff. And you can't do that because they will actually eat away the gelatin. It's kind of cool because they're that potent. And what I found, and we use it now every day as a nutraceutical, is it's so good for your body. And it's really like my son got a box, like it's called a boxing stitch. Like he was playing around in the tub and slipped and fell and split his eyebrow up and had to get to it. You pour those minerals on it, and I mean, there's no scar, just because they're so healthy for you. And I'm like, okay, wait, our body, we're talking about hair and we're talking about our skin, and this is really healthy for our body and for our skin. And so I had all the oils I was making for myself. And then I'm like, well, I want to try this. And so I tried putting oil just on my beard, and I'm like, wow, really? And so then I thought, okay, I'm going to try putting that in my, after I did all the research, like all the benefits of it, and put it in my oil, and it clicked. It was perfect. So to me, and so that's why I ended up doing that. It's just all the research and all that, and finding out that, this is actually really, really healthy for hair, and it's really, really healthy for skin. So that's why I added it at the very end. And I thought people might think it was a little gimmicky, but it's not. It's just like how people probably thought at first CBD was, but it's not.
Right.
So, I mean, it might be gimmicky if I only put, just a little squirt or something. You know what I mean? I'm not, you know what I mean? It might be a little gimmicky because that wouldn't do anything for you. Just like CBD, if you just put a tiny bit of CBD and it wouldn't do anything for you.
It was just something different. Like I said, when it first came out, people were just like, they were just kind of unsure about what it was. You know what I'm saying? So they don't know. Nobody knows, anything about this product that has the inland sea minerals in it. So it's just like, is it a gimmick? Is it real?
Yeah.
Is this? Is it that? And I mean, I've done some research on it, and I mean, it's literally like, I think it was, whatever's like in your blood is pretty much whatever's in your body is what's in the minerals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What you're gonna find in your blood is what you're gonna find in that.
Yeah, so you take the minerals by itself and you put it in your body. Like, if you drink distilled water, what will happen if you drink distilled water? What happens if you drink alcohol? What happens if you drink... Now, I'm just talking about minerals. I'm not talking about our beer, not talking about our skin. I'm just talking. Mm-hmm. If you take all this acidity that we're drinking, from coffee to alcohol to soda to pretty much all our foods, so if you put something in the microwave, if you do all, so you take all this stuff that we're eating, our body is becoming acidic. Right. And so our body, in order for us to remain that pH balance, because if we change it even 0.1%, we're dead within our pH balance. Right. And so what happens though, our body has to get those minerals so that we remain pH balanced. So we're starting to strip from our skin. We're starting to strip those minerals from our bones, and we become osteoporotic. We're taking it from our organs. We're taking it everywhere so that we can live, because we have to remain that pH balance. And so you'll see a lot of companies, with water, added minerals for taste and all that kind of stuff. You'll see a lot of that. But the problem is those are rocks. Those are minerals that are rocks. Like you can get colloidal minerals and you can get ionic minerals. And colloidal minerals, they don't really do a lot of benefit for you because they're literal minerals, but they're encapsulated with a rock. And so with ionic, well, you add that to your diet and add that to that, you're not having to strip everything away. You're actually adding to it, and you're adding to it, and you're adding to it. And it actually really helps make your skin and your complexion look better. It makes your bones thicker. It helps with all that kind of stuff. And so all of a sudden I'm like, okay, so good for us. Why am I not adding this to my carrier oil blend? Because this will help us with everything from our skin to our hair. I mean, this will bind with all that calcium. If you are using hard water at home and you do have a little bit of patchiness, guess what? That magnesium will bind to that calcium and it'll strip it. And all of a sudden your pore that had a little bit of calcium that was blocking, that's going to disappear. And you're going to be able to grow from that follicle. And if that's the case, and that's what's going on. And so there's a lot of benefits. Zinc is so good for your skin, and for your hair. Magnesium, potassium, selenium. All these things help with your shine, and with the iron, all help with the shine, with the brittleness, making it strong and healthy and vibrant. And so it's very, very healthy for your hair and skin. Sorry, I went a little too crazy there.
No, that's awesome. That's exactly why I brought you on, because I wanted people to realize that this is really good for you. I've read, there was a couple of those ads a couple of years back. They probably still are out there about the Ionic. minerals that were coming out of the salt sea, and they also come out of the Dead Sea, right?
Yeah.
Two locations in the world that these come out of. And it's because of the salinity of the Salt Sea and the Dead Sea that they are able to do this, and it's coming out of different rocks there too. Right. But you're having, and we had talked about it, there's people that are mining it, and there's different characteristics, and you're going for the ones that are healthy for your body. I think that you were talking about some other stuff that people mine out that isn't so good.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, like if you're taking a mineral and say you're taking a multivitamin and you're taking that in, it's going to be a colloidal mineral, but instead of getting 100% absorbed, you might be getting 10% because it is a rock and your body can't break down rocks. Right. Whereas if you were taking an ionic mineral, that's going to be absorbed 100%. And so therefore you take less, because if you do take more, magnesium is it's going to make you poop. Right. That's just what it's going to do if you take too much magnesium, and so, or sugar gummy bears, one of those two. But but no, it's super. So that's why Ionic is really, 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 I can't stress enough, really healthy for you.
Oh, that's good to hear. And I'm glad that there's companies out there that's what they're. I mean, that's kind of the thing about being into this whole beard community and beard oil and beard grooming, is the fact that you're wanting to be healthier. And this is physically healthier. I mean, that's the reason why I teach meditation, for the same reason, is because I'm wanting people to be mentally healthier. But in this case, we're talking physical health. Your beard feels better, and then your skin itself is feeling better. And then it also is wanting you to get more. Like I've never noticed that. I started looking at beard wash. What's in my beard wash? What's in my shampoos?
Right.
What's in my, and it's all because of folks just like what you're talking about. That's exactly what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to help out, right?
Yeah, and that's why I introduced soap. I just wasn't going to introduce a crappy soap, and so I introduced something that I felt was healthy for you and all that kind of stuff. And Chuck Norris can digest rocks. Oh, Gary, what would we do without you? I love his sense of humor. I think it's hilarious.
Gary is a really good guy. He's from AZ. He's from AZ. So it's been interesting. It's been really kind of cool getting to know more owners as I get more into this. And I had a good live stream with him a while back, and then we're still part of that group that did the unboxing. You were in. It was fun. Did you see that? Did you see that, James?
Like the 10 of you?
Yeah,
that was fun.
That was such a blast.
That was epic, actually. I thought that was really smart of Gary to do. I mean, that was really, really good. That was marketing 101.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Marketing 101. That's exactly what it was. It was great marketing. And then one of my friends said that there was like that one moment we were all just sniffing it, and they go, that's a moment that was just classic, because everybody was like just getting so into the smells. And I was like, that's what us men love. I mean, it's kind of fun to get into these scents. And that kind of leads me to my next question. What made you decide on the scents the scent profiles that you kind of are coming out with?
Yeah, so I'm a fruity guy. I really, really enjoy the fruity. A lot of my friends call me sissy foo-foo. Like when I get my drinks and stuff, like I like fruity stuff. But I know that's not for everyone. And so what I did for the first 6 scents that I brought out is I brought one that had no scent, because I know that some people literally need it, because the either fragrance or essential oil or whatever I use at that time, it doesn't work well with them. But they deserve to be able to have that experience. And so I did that. And then I went literally strong fragrance to extremely light fragrance, and different scents that maybe I not necessarily like, but I know that people will like. So at least one person will like this, like this, like this. And so coffee is by far the strongest, all the way down to woodland breeze, which is crap. It's like, oh, that smells good. Oh, it's gone.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's some people that love that. That's
exactly, and that's
fine.
why I did that. But then now with but I think I've come into where I like with Last Cast and Angler's Code, it's really just a medium strength, and I don't want something that will give you a headache, but I also want something that when you're in your mask, you can smell it after lunch. So I've really worked really hard on these last 2 scents to get that.
And you just released those last week, right?
No, a couple weeks ago.
Couple weeks ago. Yeah. Because that's awesome, and I love that. What is do you have a? Are you still? Is there like a certain place where you're going to be like, I'm done making sense, or are you just going to be like, I'm going to keep making these until?
You know what? Making is the funnest part for me. So no, but I don't know how many I'm going to always keep. So I'm thinking right now I'll always just have 10, and I'll just get rid of the least selling ones. And when I introduce stuff, that's my thought process right now. It could change. But then again, I'm coming out with a limited release of 100-ish for Christmas for the holidays. And I had Oz do the artwork. And
cool.
Yeah, it's a special one. You know my personal history. Mm-hmm. You and I have talked, and it's special. It's my daughter's favorite Christmas drink, and it's just something that we do. Tradition. We'll go see the Christmas lights, maybe at Temple Square. Maybe we'll go to the Ogden Place and see the Christmas lights because they're really, really known for that. I mean, it's pretty.
Right.
And we'll just, and I named it Coming Home, and it's a special one. It's simple, but it smells really good.
Awesome.
And then I have one that's totally opposite of that with Dave KC, our Faithfully Bearded, that we're introducing here next week, the 24th. Dang. Next Saturday. I know. And I don't know if I like it, but everyone else who's tasted or smelt it loves it. But I don't have that nose for it. I've actually told Dave, I'm like, Dave, are you sure? because I'm like, are you sure? Because it's cannabis, agar wood, bourbon, honey, Cuban tobacco, and vanilla.
Oh wow!
And it's deep, it's light, it's rich, and then it starts to fade away, and you just smell that Cuban tobacco the rest of the day. It's nice, but I'm like, I don't know.
That's the fun thing about playing with bass and light and medium notes with scents, is that you can, if you do it right, the smell changes over time.
Oh, 100% changes.
I love that about scents, is that you'd be like, this smells exactly like this, and then over time it starts smelling like you can hit that. Especially if you're talking tobacco, is one of those really nice ones that just hangs out. Now, what kind of tobacco is it? It's a Cuban, like a pipe tobacco.
Yeah, it's a pipe tobacco. It's a Cuban pipe tobacco. It has almost, I want to say, a cherry floral scent to it. It has that, and it's a deep, rich Cuban tobacco. And then you have that cannabis scent to it. But then I added a little bit of the sugary scent of bourbon and honey to it. And so you have the high note, the middle note, and the bass note. And it works really well, don't get me wrong, and I really like it, but I don't know. But everyone that's tried it, because it was a collaboration with Dave, and I wanted what he wanted.
Awesome. Yep.
So we'll see.
Very cool. Well, that's the whole thing. It's interesting. I was talking, I have talked to Gary at Chesapeake for a bit, and I've talked to some other owners, and they don't always necessarily like every scent they make.
No. Sometimes
it's about expanding upon what other people might like, and especially when it's doing collaborations. I think he specifically, like, there's some people just, I did this collaboration, I'm not a fan of it completely. Like, it's okay, but this is what you wanted, so this is what we did, and this is who you are as a person, and this is what represents you. And if that's what represents you, then that's it, right?
Yeah. And so I specifically asked Dave because he doesn't like what I like, but he represents people out there that I can't market to. Does that make sense?
Right.
And so I asked him, I'm like, Dave, I'm good at the fruity, the cheerful scents. I don't know if that makes sense, but I am not good when it comes to the deep, dark scents. I'm just not, because that's not who I am. Do you want to do a collab and help me with this? He's like, absolutely. And so that's what we worked on. And I literally, it took us a couple of months and about 16 bottles to finally get what he wanted. And at the end, I'm like, hey, this smells good. And I put it beard and I'm like, hey, it smells good. But does it smell good? You know, it's like, okay, I like it, but do I like it? It's like one of those scents, but he just swears by it and he loves it. So
no, that's all that matters right there.
That's what I mean is like, I'm trying to market to people like him who want that stuff.
That's awesome. And that's marketing 101. Scent is subjective. And, you know, all the, you know, you have no idea what somebody like, but you do know that people will like a woodsy scent. You know, so you have to have some of this stuff in your lineup, or you're not going to have a very successful, thriving business, because you don't have enough variety to make it where people want to come shopping for different things in your lineup.
Yeah, my wife, what's funny is she gets it. She's like, I didn't understand why so many people wanted so many different scents, and like just buy one and just wear it. And I'm like, now she's like, oh yeah, I'm sick of this scent. I'm like, right,
right.
So right. That's why we do this one, and then we do this one, so we don't ever get sick of this one.
You bounce.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be in, James. I don't know what is your scent profile, James?
Like the scent profiles I go for?
Like your go-to. What's your go-to scent profile? Like if you were to say, hey, there's a company, what's your go-to?
I do like the one like the manly kind of, not like musky, but like manly type scents. A little bit of the fruity side as well. I'm literally kind of just all around. I'm not really too much on like tea tree types. I mean, tea tree, if it's just tea tree, I'm not really a fan of tea tree. But if it's mixed well with other stuff, I like it as like a nighttime scent or whatever. I know the first couple oils that I've gotten, I think I've just had a bad experience with tea tree. When I first started getting into like the, you know, wearing the beard products. But other than that, I kind of just go, I'm pretty eclectic in variety. I'll go for a fruity. I guess it just depends on what kind of day I want. I can choose a fruity scent or choose a citrus scent or a cologne scent. It's just good to have a different like variety of stuff. But yeah, like dark scent to it, I'll definitely go for something like that, like the oud or, you know, stuff like that.
That's cool. And that's exactly what he's talking about. So we don't get that stuck in this one. And there's some people that just, that's all they want to buy is that same, you know, my dad wore, he wore just aftershave every day. It was the Old Spice, old school aftershave. That was his go-to. He wore that all of his life. I think maybe he once went to Aquavelva for a bit.
Yeah.
But most of the time he was an Old Spice guy. But
at the same time, there wasn't a lot available to him. So I wonder if he would have taken something different. And also beards are in, and I don't see them ever going away anytime soon, if ever. And it used to be a different stereotype, stigmatism when it came to having a beard. Now it's it's accepted by the community, the professional community. And so you can wear them at work, you can still be professional and have a beard. So I think that's really changed the outlook on everyone wearing a beard, which helped us, like me as an owner and a company, be able to provide and actually have a business solely selling to people like that, because they're nice. I love beards.
Right. I love beards too. And I'll be honest with you. Go ahead, James.
So there's people that are even around me, like my girlfriend or my people in my life that are like, I can't see you without a beard. I mean, I've always had like a goatee, but like I've always had just that. So when I grew a beard, it's like I can't really see you without a beard now. So it's like it's gonna stay there forever, pretty much. So
but that's awesome though. I mean, and I think it's also something that is for us manly. It helps represent what we, you know, something we can grow, that is something we can take care of. There's mindfulness even built into it. there's so much that I think comes out of owning a beard that is why we're all in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you look from the outside in, we're taking care of ourselves by doing these products and things like that. But I think the other thing that's really cool is that I think it's stylish. I think I think it makes you look you have a certain style that goes with you. It's like a personality thing with your beard as well. And I love that because you can say, hey, I got this scruffy, crazy beard. I'm a grizzly bear beard, you know, and that's your style. That's who you are. It kind of reflects about just by looking at you. You can kind of see your personality in it. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I agree completely with that. If I shaved, my kids would be a little upset with me. My wife too. I never thought my wife would like me having a beard, but she's like, nope, you're not getting rid of it at all.
Right.
Right. And there's even within
Benjamin.
Hey, what's going on?
Sorry, didn't interrupt.
No, that's awesome. These dudes are I love these guys. Such good guys in our community.
Yeah.
I appreciate the support. I think we both do. So so you got this beard company. What kind of made you decide to be a beard company owner? Like, it's not something that you just say, hey, I think I'm just going to sell some. It sounds like you were into some pharmaceuticals, but what made you, or pharmaceutical sales and things like that, but what kind of made you say, hey, beard oils?
Yeah. So did you listen to Cribs Swag's comment or his video about how he became a YouTuber for beard products? And about what to expect and all that kind of stuff.
Yep. I remember seeing
and how his wife was fully supportive and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
This was my wife's idea. We had a product. We've had a product for a long time that I was just, letting my friends have. I would sell to my friends. And I would just solely do it for myself and all that kind of stuff. And during the recession, like I was telling you with my daughter, going to another country as a family so that she can compete doing tumbling is a lot of money.
Right.
and so we're just like, but it costs more for my wife to work than it would be for her and do daycare than it would for her just to stay home. So we started looking for jobs, or she started looking for jobs that, and mind you, I've never said, Candace, you need to get my wife's Candace. You don't have to get a job, sweetheart. I got us. I can take care of this. But her being her, she's like, no, I want to help. The kids are old enough. They're in school. I can help. So she started looking, and everything was just not worth her time. Like minimum wage kind of stuff. And so she's like, Tyson, we have this product. Why don't we do it? And she talked me into it. And so next thing I know, I'm going to the lawyers, getting everything taken care of there. And right when that happened, I'm like, okay, no turning back. So here we go. Cool. And then needless to say, thousands of dollars later, here we are.
Was that the most unexpected, is the product and how much you had to do the RNA for this to get to that state to where you were actually selling products?
Yeah. And still to this day, I seriously just told my wife, I'm like, so we sell stuff so that we can make money. But then we just take what we made and we go buy more stuff, and we buy more stuff that we don't have to bring on so that we can work harder to make more stuff so that we can buy more stuff. And I'm just like, it's an endless cycle. It's like we're just making money so that we can stay busy making more money, and then to buy more stuff. And it's like, dude, when does the money actually happen? Because we're not making crap right now. It's an endless cycle of just, and I know that's how businesses work, especially the first few years. You're just getting established and you're getting who you are as a company, and you start to learn who you are, and as you evolve and all that kind of stuff. And so it takes time to actually make money, and I'm not worried about that at all. I've actually really enjoyed it. I just thought it was funny that my wife's like, why do we want to make money? I'm like, I don't know. Because there's so many things that we want to do.
Well, James
that just takes time and money.
Right. And James can testify to this, that being a reviewer, I mean, there's some people making money But I mean, the amount of money that we spend in getting setups and cameras and microphones, and you're paying for this service, and then you have to do thumbnails with this service, and it turns into quite a bit of money investment just to do the reviews. And then that's not even talking about buying the products. You have to then buy enough products to review. And so you're constantly churning. I mean, I spend more money than I would like to think I'd spend in a given month. And it's so much fun. And then you're just like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I just got this new microphone. I got a preamp for it. I had to get a preamp for it because I found out that this microphone didn't pick up right. Then I had to get a digital interface, and then you just keep expanding because you just want to get to the best that you can with what you're doing. I guess that's what you strive for as a company as well. Like, okay, I'm learning, I'm journeying, and then I'm getting there, but you're never there. You never arrive to where you're.
Well, the thing that I've learned, I work really close with my other company that I worked for, with the owner, and he I actually will talk to him quite a bit. He's been very supportive of what I do and stuff like that. And he will actually, and probably Gary, and I think I saw Carrie in here. They probably might feel the same way. I don't know, but it's just like there's a reason why you don't see Kodak anymore. There's a reason why you don't see some of these stores anymore, because they didn't evolve. They didn't move forward. They just said, nope, we do film. This is who we are. And so he, as a nutraceutical company, he started out with 3 lines, and now he has over 110 different products. Now, I don't ever foresee me having 110 products. However, I will, we are going to be moving forward with other things and things like that. And hopefully we create something that's revolutionary and stuff like that. But yeah, you always got to be innovative. You always got to keep grinding and all that kind of stuff. That will never end, right? And you see Gary and Carrie, they both are always coming out with new stuff. And I'm not talking about scents. I mean, scents are always going to come out. I'm talking about different products that maybe we haven't thought of before.
Right. And that's where that's that innovation. And you're absolutely right. That revolutionary, where you're going to push out something that's brand new, Netflix, you name it, Google, any of these companies now. Google's becoming old now, but Google back in the day when it was just a search engine, is pushing its boundaries into, I think they even sold soda at one point. I don't know if you knew that, but Google wanted to sell soda. Amazon's another company that you just see just doing that now. They were selling books at a regular bookstore, and now they went to an online thing, and they found that their way of doing commerce was able to sell more products from it. So then they started expanding and got into food, and then got into, it's basically drop ship. And here they are now, one of the biggest companies out there. And now they're selling web services. Because they got their infrastructure, their IT service became so big because of what they were doing. They now can sell what they're doing and sell it out that's what they call the cloud. It's actually their data center.
Yeah.
And so they're able to, that's what AWS is, Amazon Web Services. They they had to develop things to make their business run. And they said, you know what? Every business would like to do this stuff. And so then they said, why don't you guys piggyback on what we're doing? And you guys don't have to buy the hardware for it. You guys just say, hey, I want to put this code up here, and we'll support it for you. And that's exactly what Amazon Web Services is.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just innovative. And it's been able to do exactly what you're saying, seeing an opportunity with where your business is and saying, there's somebody else that may want to do, I've done this. Maybe there's this other industry that I can start. And that's where, like, some of your lineups, like going into the female lineups.
Absolutely. That's priority for me.
Yeah.
My wife's we've already been working on a female, and without going into detail, my wife breaks out, even at her age. I'm not saying she's old. I mean, she's younger than me. And she'll break out, and she's been using our stuff with a lot more minerals than I put in the beard oil. And she hasn't broke out in 2 months now. Wow. And I'm not going to ever make any claims, But so I think I found something, a cream for women's face that actually works really, really well. So there's definitely going to be working for a conditioner that has special properties. I've been actually Bearded Meb's in there.
Yeah.
And I've actually been working. He's very intelligent. It's really fun talking with him, and as with everyone else. But him and I are talk. He came out with an idea for me, and I'm like, dude, can I use it? And so I'm actually going to be using his. It's going to probably take 7 months to a year to actually get what I want that he thought of, but I think it'll be a game changer too.
See, that's amazing. And that's where you guys collaborate as companies together. Because the Bearded Meb, is that, I can't remember where
he's a pharmacist.
Right.
And so when I talked to him, he was trying to understand what the minerals are, and he did his research, and it was really fun. Like James, when I talked to him, James did an enormous amount of research, and it was really fun to talk to them. But Meb came out and said something. I'm like, dude, seriously, where'd you find that? Like he saw peer-reviewed journals about these minerals and stuff. I'm like, whoa, how'd you find that out? I want to know about this. So he's really intelligent, but he came out with an idea, and he gave me the permission to use it. So I'm really excited. It's going to be special.
Game changer. Right. Again, revolutionary. Yep. Revolutionary, game changer, whatever you call it, is and that's how you grow as a business. I think that when you were saying, we asked that question, you answered it exactly. This is why you became as big and you hit the ground running as fast as you did, is you did the research prior. You knew what you wanted to come out with, and you knew that this was something unique and game changing. Netflix was that same type of style. There was Blockbuster in this fields. If you've ever read any of the Netflix owner books, whereas the owner of Netflix said, "This is how I did it,"
and how they were saying he's going to go bankrupt this year, and I'm like, and then all of a sudden, nope, everyone else went bankrupt. He didn't.
Right. Yep. That's exactly it. And Blockbuster went out of business because exactly what you're saying. You can't stay stagnant thinking that you're going to, as a business, sit and just get everything. And I that's the reason why IT is around. IT makes you more innovative because there's new features. And I'll be honest with you, and me and Ken can probably talk about this all day. I cannot stay stagnant on what I'm learning. I have to keep going. I can't just sit and go, I'm done. I've gotten to my level of IT. Now I'm there. I have to keep learning, or the IT industry passes me by.
Oh yeah.
And it's amazing.
Well, that's the same with medical. I mean, think of medical. I mean, you want the latest and greatest. You don't want some guy who cutting into you inches and inches when you only need like a quarter of an inch. Like, you know what I mean? And so I don't know. And there's another guy who's very innovative. I mean, Chris is very, very intelligent. And I actually just got his honorary Mac, and I just bought it. I'm excited to try it.
Oh, Chris is on, me and Chris are on Ken's live stream next week. So Bluegrass on Monday.
So I talk to Chris almost daily.
Yeah, Chris is a good dude.
So him and I haven't helped him as much as he's helped me.
Well, he has a ton of knowledge. He went to school for this.
Yeah, and he's very I know my carrier oils, and I know that, and I know what I want to do. But when it comes to business aspects and stuff like that, especially with insurance, like I have insurance, but I'm like, do I have the right insurance? So we talk a lot about just that type of stuff. Then we talk about our families and stuff, because Chris is a good dude. So
right.
I haven't met anyone that I don't like.
So here's the cool thing about Chris, and people will get to know this about. I always find something that's in common. That I usually have something in common. I've been an Air Force brat. I lived everywhere. So, but the weird thing about Chris is he literally lived down the street from me growing up. He's from Phoenix. I'm from Phoenix. He went to the same high school that my sister.
I still don't know why you guys live there. It's so hot.
It is hot. And that's probably why Chris left. Honestly, he's like, "Hey, I got to get the heck out of Dodge. It's so hot here." But me and him have that commonality that we lived literally a mile away from each other growing up.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
No, it's stupid hot. No joke. Like I'm over there doing some training, And all of a sudden, the next about these minerals. And what's funny is then all of a sudden, I get to the airport and like, we shut the airport down. I'm like, why? The tires are melting. I'm like, shut up. It's that hot. I'm like,
but he just said it. Here it is. But it's a dry heat.
Not when you stand outside, you start sweating. It's no longer dry.
No, when you're feeling like you're going to die and you're dehydrated, absolutely not. Were you at Luke doing that?
I think Scottsdale Airport.
Oh, Scottsdale. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
because I did a lot of training in Glen, not Glen. Is it Glendale?
Glendale. Yep.
Scottsdale. Is Peoria right in the mountain range right there?
Peoria, and it's in the valley, like the Northwest Valley. Yeah.
Where's you go up the mountains and it's like
Flagstaff, Prescott.
No, Prescott.
Yeah.
And a couple other places where I'm like, wait, it's 100 degrees here, but it's like 70 here. I'm like, this is amazing. Why don't people live here? But yeah, I did a lot of training over there. It was really fun, but I just couldn't believe how hot it was.
Yeah, and we're still sitting in 95. Where are you at, James? Are you guys still sitting in the 80s or 70s or?
Yeah, we're like during the day we'll get like it'll be like high 80s, and at night it's getting to where it's going to be about 75.
See, and we're about 30 at night and 60 during the day.
So I can't wait till it cools down where I can pop windows open. I mean, I can't wait till it gets like the high of like 70. That's like why I can't wait for it.
Let's see what temperature is right now. Right now it is 90 degrees. Tomorrow's going to be 100.
Well, I told Ken, he's never been over here. I'm like, Ken, when you come here, I'm going to take him to Park City, him and his family, and show him kind of the sights and go snowboarding at least. And then I'm like, hey, if you go fishing, I got to take you some nice spots for ice fishing. And then I'm like, hey, then we're going to go to Yellowstone. You got to experience Yellowstone. You've never been there. Like, there's so many places. I'm like, dude, you've never done this with your kids? You got to do this.
Absolutely. And I think that's awesome. So that leads me to my question. This is the segment where before I get too much out of time, I want a good fishing story. I got to hear a good fishing story. So Copper John's is based off the fishing lure or fishing fly. It's a fly, not a lure.
Yeah.
What's that? Real fly fishermen will kill you for saying it's a lure. However, what is your fishing? What is your gear? Are you usually just fly fishing? Because that's streams mostly.
Actually, fly fishing, you can go anywhere. You can go up. So around late March, early to mid-April, the smallmouth start spawning. And so they'll come up in the lakes and the reservoirs. And they'll be about 3 feet to 8 feet from the shore. And so if you just do the fly just a little bit right there, they'll come and pop and grab it.
Are you roll casting out there when that type of next to a lake? Are you just roll casting?
Sometimes. But I do all three. I do bait, I do lure, and I do fly. So
nice.
Depends on who I'm with. If I'm with my kids, I'm doing bait because they drive me crazy.
Because you can throw it in and then
I had my son
anyway.
My son I tried to teach him how to do fly fishing and stuff like that, and so he didn't notice that there was a fisherman behind him, and he literally got in between, like got his skin and it hooked his skin, and the barb was underneath it and everything. I'm like, okay, here's my insurance. Send me the bill.
Right.
Because you have to cut the barb and all that, and then you have to go get a tetanus shot and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm just like, oh, bummer. But he didn't mean to do it. But
of course.
But yeah. So what kind of fishing story are you looking for?
I'm looking for. Okay, so we always have the big fish, but what was the most technical that you ever had to fish and to get it actually to rise and get the fish up? So what were you using? What were you like? Were you on this type of day, this type of lake, or this type of stream, and it was really hard? And what were you using? What did you have to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's a lot. I'm just trying to debate on which one to share. I'll tell you the most disappointing.
There we go. That works. That works too.
No. I was thinking all the things, and I'm like, my most disappointing was the very first catch that I just caught in Alaska. because we'll go in the streams here in the lake or the rivers here, and we'll catch trout after trout after trout.
Right.
And so we go to Alaska and we want salmon, and we caught a lot of salmon. But the first day I was there, I was so sad. I was so sad. I'm expecting these monster salmon, you know what I mean, which we caught.
Right.
But I'm sitting here just doing it. All of a sudden, I got one, and I start reeling in, and all of a sudden, it's like this big of a trout. And I'm like, "Are you freaking kidding me?" I fly all the way here, and I catch a trout. And I'm like, "I will kill you guys if it stays this way." I was down after that because that was the only thing I caught that day. That was the first day, and I'm just like, "What?" I'm so sad. I thought I was a good fisherman, and that's all I caught. But no, what was that?
What was your favorite place? Where's your favorite place?
My favorite experience was just with my grandpa. He's gone now, but that's how I started growing and loving fishing, is growing fishing with my grandpa. I remember waking up early. We'd go to a place called Strawberry. It's half of it's in Wyoming, half of it's in Utah, and it's like the fish there, the trout there are so large that it has to be between 18 to 24 inches, the only thing you can catch.
Wow.
Everything else you have to release. And we love fish. We love eating fish. So it's not, we don't catch them, at least usually, unless we caught our limit, but we still want to keep fishing.
Right.
But I just remember doing that. And I remember being in boats and stuff. I'm like, dude, Grandpa, I gotta pee. He's like, just go. So I'd be like, dude, there's people over there on the shore, and I would just drop my trousers and just start peeing, and
Best fishing day. What was your best fishing day? Where your biggest haul?
Besides Alaska, because that was crazy. I caught my limit in 30 minutes in Alaska.
I've heard that.
I mean, it would be ice fishing with my grandpa. Would be the funnest time I've ever had was we went fishing. When we ice fish, we have 2 hooks, and you put them in there, and you have little poles. And we probably caught 24 trout that day, and it'd be 2 trout at a time with the 2 hooks. It was so much fun.
You're just pushing them down, and they're coming back up.
But with my kids, I just have fun with them. Usually, if I fish with them, I don't fish. I just let them fish, and we just catch. Like my son just caught a catfish, which sucks. I hate catfish.
Me too. I hate the barbs on them. I'll actually like hope they get off.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, oh man, it's a catfish. But at least it's a cool picture and all that kind of stuff. And then you just go back in.
Yeah, for sure. And then you guys like mud cats. Is that what kind of is out there? Is like more mud cat, not channel cat?
Yeah.
I don't want to eat those. I don't eat those mud cats.
Oh heavens no, gross.
Yeah, there's people that do, and I'm just like, no, it tastes too much muddy. I just can taste what they ate, which is mud. That's awesome. Do you make any of your own? Have you made your own lures and flies?
No, my brother does. I don't have time. However, what's cool is I have a lot of people so I've been buying so many flies. Like I buy flies and they're not cheap. I buy copper chons to send to all the orders, and they're not cheap. And I've been ordering 100, and then also I'm like, oh, that wasn't enough. Then I'll order another 100, and I'm like, oh, suck. So I'm actually having a family member and another person making them, and it's going to be very unique. It's going to have a white bead head and a white body wrapped with black copper. And then it's going to have white feather or red feathers, and there's nothing out there like that. And it's going to. I'm like, dude, that looks so cool. So I'm excited.
Really cool. That's really
They're
cool.
still expensive, but
yeah, that's cool. And so, what's your favorite rod?
I don't really have one. You had to ask. I have one right there. I can't remember it, but I like the fly, the one that doesn't have a ton of give, because there's a lot of finesse in it. I'm not full of finesse, and so I like the more stiff ones that you can just kind of, you know what I mean, and use your muscle. Right. The ones that have a lot of give, you don't use a lot of muscle, and when that happens, I whip it, with the snap, and then all of a sudden you look at your fly and you're like, sock.
Right.
So I like more stiff pulls so that I can just use my muscle. Not on purpose. It's just that's how I do it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Favorite? Do you have a favorite lake?
Well, we have a date night lake because we have phone service there. So we'll go there. My wife and I will go there when we just want to get away and just have a date night. But no, my favorite would I have a lot of success at a place called Kazi. If you look back at some of my first feeds, I have pictures where there were moose there and stuff. That's Kazi, and cool. I catch a ton there.
Have you been to the Colorado and have you fished that at all?
No, I haven't. And yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
Snake River is really fun too for me.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've heard that. That's yeah, I've heard.
And Snake River's in Idaho, but I grew up in Idaho, so.
Right. Oh, cool. Very cool. Oh, hey. Well, you have any questions for him, James? I know that I've been asking him all the fishing questions, but
sorry, man. I've been talking a ton.
No, you're good. No, it's always a pleasure to talk. Like you said, when we first started talking to nerd out on all this stuff, it's always fun and fascinating to learn about, what people don't know about is, ionic minerals and stuff like that. So I thought it was cool to kind of, get briefed on, what the stuff, what's in the product itself and how you started out. So I think that's pretty good.
I appreciate that.
This is my question for you, James. How, from your personal experience, so you're definitely a purchaser. You're wearing it today.
Yeah.
How do you feel it is in beard, and what is your experience with it?
With experience, I wore it when I first got it for like a week straight. Like I went through, like my bottles are pretty much, I think, like a quarter, or like almost all the way down to the bottom. I used it pretty much. I used it a good amount of time, and then when all that stuff kind of started out with, whatever. But I used it again, and I thought it was really good. I mean, I experienced it like no breakage, no brittleness, no dryness. It was manageable. Even with the butters and stuff like that, I experienced no problems at all. It just provided a little bit more softness than the other stuff that I had. And I know that's what I noticed. And even the scent lasted a good amount of time. So nothing like overpowering, where it's gonna like give you a headache, like you said earlier. But just subtle, but smells good.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's what I was, that's somebody who didn't know much about probably the inland, and softness is a huge thing for me. I have that wiry beard that if you don't put, you have to do something special to make this thing soft. Gary has a product that makes it soft. I have had a couple other 10th Kingdom BC has another product that makes it soft, and so does Copper John's. I mean, I would say also BAM. BAM has that BTMS that helps just make this wiry beard do something other than. And I got used to it being wiry, but I like it when I can get something that makes it nice and soft and relax. And I think your products definitely do that. I haven't done the full testing that I want to with yours yet, because I've dedicated about 3 weeks to doing your products, because I just really, I've read up on the inland minerals or inland sea minerals, and there's so many benefits to it health-wise. And it was, again, going back to people that were orally taking it. There's a lot of case studies on that, but I was really interested in doing this next level. Like, hey, here's some stuff that is so awesome that I want to see how well it's going to work. And it, like we said, I heard a lot of people tell me that it takes about a week or two for you to get the real benefit from it. But when you do see it, it's amazing.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Minerals, they're not medicine.
right.
And so, and it's not a nutraceutical. This is just simply for your beard to help. But yeah, no, it takes time, but then as soon as you feel it, and you can tell a difference.
Yeah. And that's what I was wanting to get enough time. And I've decided this has turned into my late fall, because now I got past the fall scents. I'm almost into the, like, another 3 or 4 weeks. I got fall scent stuff. And then I'm going to spend the time with Copper John's, just spending some, get to know it. And then I was actually thinking about journaling it and vlogging it, because I really believe in it that much, because I've read all the articles and all the science behind it. And my dad's a science teacher, so of course I'm interested in the science. And I think that that's a really cool opportunity to be able to really give it a good test, especially with what I was reading. Making sure you give time, because people that just do the 3 or 4 days probably not going to get the benefit that they want out of it.
Yeah, it'll still make them, your hair soft and all that kind of stuff. But
Right.
for when it comes to minerals, they won't notice the difference.
Right. That's what I was looking for, is that mineral piece is the piece that
Some falling behind you.
it was my my back screen is falling now because I hit it. Look, I got too excited and I just started hitting things. Start flailing my hands around. But I just wanted to give it time, and I think and with this practice, I think I've started talking to people about it. I'm going to spend time with company owners that I love. I think same way with you, James. There's certain companies that I just actually love the owner, and you're one of them, as I've told you, Tyson.
And I appreciate
You're a
it.
friend. You're a friend, and I feel like I just love to spend time with their products because I know A, what goes into it, and B, I like the company. This is the reason why I got into this, is because of the brotherhood and the people that are in it.
Right.
And so I might as well spend some time with companies that I love. And then if I see some new one that comes in that's like, hey, squirrel, there's a new kind of one that's kind of cool, let's check them out. But for right now, I'm just spending some time, loving the products and loving the people that I'm talking to.
Yeah, there's
Right.
a lot of great owners. There's a lot of great product out there. So every time I see an order, I still get excited. I still am like, someone spent their hard-earned money for it. It's I say my prayers at night, and I pray for my company, and I pray for those who purchase and who are about to purchase, that they will get the experience that they deserve because they worked hard for it. I know that sounds stupid.
Nope, nothing wrong with that. That's awesome.
But I believe in God, and I do pray. Like, I just pray for my family, pray for everyone's family, that kind of stuff. But I don't want anyone to have a bad experience, and I want not for me to boast of my product, but just like it means something to me, and I want them to feel that. If that makes sense.
No, but it totally comes across, and I think James can testify the same way. What's your thoughts, James?
Oh yeah, same way. It's it's awesome to talk with good owners such as Tyson, and even first talking with him, I think we talked for a little bit for quite a while, and it's just awesome to support quality products, and I think that's what he has. So
appreciate it. And James is a great chef, even when he makes weird looking cakes. He said when we started, he made a cake, and I'm like, dude, is that the Cookie Monster? He's like, no, that's I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, it looks really good.
what was
awesome.
it?
Remember that blue cake that you made for, was it a blue cake for your mom?
Oh yeah, 60 birthday.
Yeah,
like an avocado. People call it like an avocado. Avocado.
And I really thought it was like a child's cake, like a Cookie Monster, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. My bad, sorry.
That's awesome. Well, that's and that's another artistry right there, is food. Being a chef is a artist, I think. No matter what you think. I mean, there's a difference between somebody working at a Chili's and being a chef at a Chili's. Then there's what James is doing, which is fine dining, having to create recipes, having to know what goes with what, just like with what you're experiencing with your company. So I think food, as well as beard oil and beard products, are very similar in that artistry that goes into them, where you have to think, I know that these work together, but how well are they going to work together? And is this going to get something that's people are going to go, that's amazing, I'll buy it again.
Absolutely. I'm actually working on so beards are different. Everyone has different beards, and so I'm working on a formula that will not only work, so I'm going to keep this same formula, but I have a different formula with the minerals that are for gray beards.
Very cool.
And so that have different thicker oils and stuff like that the gray beards will, but have the same scents, just different carrier blends, so that it will help them, so they get experience it too. So
that's cool. That's very cool. And so in time I'm closer to that than I think.
All this is great. Like, it's just coming. Oh, there goes it's so sad.
My wife said that the other day. She's like, I can see more gray coming in, and I'm like, thanks for noticing.
Yeah. Thanks. I'm gonna go cry now.
I'm 47. Yeah.
Well, right here, like I
Yeah.
started, I'm bald. I cannot be Ken. I cannot be bald.
I know, neither can I. I just couldn't do it. So we'll wrap this up in it. So everybody does a speed round, and the only thing that I really want to know is a couple things. A, is pineapple allowed on pizza?
Yeah.
In your opinion?
Yeah. We just ordered some the other day. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it.
Right.
What you know? What's weird is that everyone will mock me in the comments. I like cheese pizza.
Oh,
I just like cheese pizza. Like, it's plain, it's simple, and I like it.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. And actually, you know what? If you're to base a pizza, you go, hey, I want your cheese pizza with your base sauce, and I want to see what this tastes like, because that's how you get that margarita pizza, for instance. I just want that. I just want this basic stuff because it tells me whether your sauce and the rest of it can be whatever.
Yeah, my wife will always like, just get pepperoni for the kids, and then you can pick off the pepperoni. I'm like, no, it still tastes different.
It does. I agree with you. Yeah, I'm a foodie, so I like crazy stuff. And I'm probably James is about like me. We're both foodies, I'm sure. I can eat almost anything. I'm just like that with beard oils. I can find something about your beard oil that I love because I'm expanded, open-minded to different scents and different tastes.
Yeah, and you have a solid head on your shoulders. You know, we've been talking. I'm like, he's intelligent, and you're a well-rounded person.
I think the Air Force thing kind of helped me do that. You know, my dad being Air Force, I lived in England for 8 years, so I think that I just
realize that there's other like I used to teach sociology and social problems, and what you learn in there is just to have empathy towards everyone and be genuine about it. Just because you believe in something doesn't mean they believe in something. We can have different beliefs and still like each other.
Absolutely,
and that doesn't bother me at all.
Oh, that's cool. And that's been I'll be honest with you, I was raised Christian. And so the last 6 years has been a very huge dichotomy for me because I started really focusing in on the Buddhist practice. And that has been a game changer. It's been an eye-opener in how people view you, but it's also been a game changer for me in how I view others, because I don't have that judgment anymore. I don't have a lot of the judgment that I used to have towards others and expectations and things like that. But it's definitely a different perspective because I'm in the minority, not of spirituality. I'm in the minority now.
Yeah,
of Americans at least. You know, there's
what's cool
of East, but
if you ever have an opportunity, you decide you want to go back to school or whatnot. One of my most favorite classes I ever took was world religion. It was like the most enlightening class I've ever taken, and what I realize is what my beliefs are is so close to what Hindus believe. And I was just like, wait, what? You know what I mean? It was, and so it's just like what I learned also is we believe in the same thing, we just do it a little bit different. And so that opened my eyes too. And I'm like, dude, so you believe in Allah, I believe in God. We believe the same thing. We're just calling it someone. You know, there's a lot of different things and variations. We can all get along and have different beliefs. That's
right, and that's that ancient wisdom piece that I always talk about all the time. There's a lot of ancient wisdom that's that's very similar because we're humans. That's what keeps us in that same place, is that we're all looking for answers, and these ancient wisdoms help kind of reach that. And they all do it maybe a little differently, but they're speaking the same stuff, the same about love and empathy and compassion for others and wisdom. You know, there's a lot, all the religions seem to have that as a base core. And that's what I'm after. And that's what my journey is.
And then there's extremists that will take it, but that's with every religion. And so when people are talking horribly about Islam, I'm like, no, Islam's a wonderful religion. They're just fanatics, just like every other religion. Like you look at Mormonism, there's crazy people over there, you know, the only reason why I use that is because I live in Utah. There's tons of people over in Manti, and the reason why I know this is because I'm an Allred. He's not the prophet is an Allred, and he has like multiple wives, and so like, are you related to him? Like, shut up, no. You know, but But
that
it's
the
just,
FLDS over there? Is that FLDS?
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. They're the ones
or
that
whatever they're
dress.
called
They dress
now.
like they're from Pioneers.
Right. Yep. I think that's the FLDS. They have Arizona City here, or Colorado City, and here in Arizona had a ton of those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that guy that went on the Lamb for a while, he was part of that. He was one from Colorado City, I think.
Yeah, and so, and and I doesn't mean I hate them. It doesn't, we can all get along and be kind. It's just,
Humans, we're humans.
yeah,
And when it comes down to it, we're humans and having a human experience. And there's just different people that were raised in a different culture, and they're going to believe a little different. So
yeah. And I'm sure us three will have a different opinion on something, and that's okay.
It is okay. It really is. And I think that that's the one thing that I strive for in this community. And that's the one thing that maybe I don't know if I'm known for that, but I do try to be that, is somebody that just wants to understand and be loving. Very much like Mike Cribbs, Mike Cribbs is just one of those inspirational, loving guys that you're just like, you can't, this dude is just full of that, just energy, that love. And every time
and it's not fake.
It's not fake at all.
But you can see how, that's what I mean, is though it's not fake, and I think that's very important,
right.
because you can be fake and be nice, and people can read that. My thing is be who you are. And so you're talking about your channel and how it's not growing, and in my mind I'm like, be you. It might grow slower than you want, but the people who want you are going to follow you.
Right.
And because you don't want to change who you are.
Right. And that's exactly what I came to. Yeah, that's exactly what I came to. And I think, James, you're the same way. You found your niche where you're kind of happy, we're hanging out. We do.
Well, he's the bearded metal chef. I mean, that's very unique, and that's him.
Yep. Yeah, that's very him. And that's what's cool about this community. We can all be in this community. And when I see the drama that happens occasionally, and there was some drama around even some of your product releases recently, and
just one person, and I love him to death. I have what he had to say, he said it, and I kept my mouth shut, and not because, I mean, it really hurt my feelings, but because I feel like we could have talked. But because I feel like I'm very easily accessible if you want to talk, but he apologized, and I was very grateful for him. If I saw him on the street, I'd give him a hug and say, "What's up?" I have no problem with any. You know what I mean? That's just who I am, and dead serious. I would never had hard feelings before. I just just more of a dagger to the chest type of feel.
Well, especially when you're first starting out, I think that was the big thing. It's like, hey, what the heck is this? But you know what? The thing is, and this is the one thing that I got out of the night. I don't know how you feel about this, James. You've been in the community for a while. When Cribbs came on with, he was all about, hey, let's solve this. Let's talk about this. And he showed just that loving heart, and it showed exactly what a loving heart really could do. Because he didn't give up on Dave. A lot of people were giving up on Dave and saying, I'm done. I don't want to talk about it. Cribbs went out of his way to say, I love all people here, and opened up his door and said, hey, this is who I am. And I think, Tyson, you're the same person. Very similar people, very loving, very good, very open-minded. And I think that comes across with what you're doing. You could have said, hey, you could have done something else, but you chose to react in a different manner. And I think that's what made the difference with why.
Well, and I also took the criticism because I knew it wasn't the minerals he was getting that filling for. And so I did a lot of research, and I found out, I'm like, hey, there are a lot of people out there that might be vitamin E sensitive. And so I reduced my vitamin E and increased my argon, and that made all the difference. And but that's what I mean, is I'm grateful for what he did, maybe not in the manner he did it, but because he did what he did, I have a better product for it.
Right. And at the end of the day, that's the journey.
Yeah.
That's the journey. And I think that's what propels you to the top, if you really listen and you really take the criticism. A lot of people can't take criticism very well because they get personal about it. You know, this is my baby, this is my product, and at first it probably hits you like that, I'm sure.
Right.
But
it hurt the feelings. That's all.
Right.
It hurt. Like, and then I like literally the same day, I'm like, oh dang, what did I do wrong? It wasn't like he did it wrong. It's like, what did I do? And that's why I had a hearing. Like, okay, what's he talking about? Because I know for 100% it wasn't the minerals.
Yeah. And he had never experienced that, so maybe he was just like, I don't know what this is, and this is the only thing that I see different. And from his perspective, and I think that you had the right attitude. What is it that could be different? And then you said, hey, this is what could be different, and then did it right. Yeah, that's cool. And
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and that's what, and I think that with good companies, with good people, being able to take that and roll with it, and that's what makes you better, and that's what makes you viable as a company. Because if you were to shut down and say, I'm done, I'm gonna, and I've had moments where I've been felt like that as a reviewer, like, or as an IT engineer, like, this is new stuff, I'm so tired of learning new stuff, this is difficult. But that little engine that's in you that says, hey, I can do better, I'm going to rise, how can I impact other people and be positive today? And I think that that's what you did, and that's cool.
Yeah, I took his criticism and I used it. And mind you, that won't happen every time. I haven't had anyone else not like it, but there will be someone, and I understand that. And so when that happens, I'll take it and I'll try to see if there's something. But I'm not going to do that with it. You can't please everyone because like our different physiology is different.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
But out of the hundreds of people who've tried it, I haven't had any complaints. Everyone just praised it. So
yeah, and the highlight here is, and then I want to push this as a highlight, the fact that we overcame that as a community with a lot of love and patience, especially a lot of love, because there was, and also a lot of forgiveness. I think that was the one thing that gets us over, and I know that our drama in our community pops up periodically. It seems like every other week or every other month there's some new drama that pops up, but it's how we react to it that makes it a big difference. And I think that you could have folded at that point and said, I'm done. This guy, he's a bigger reviewer. You could have said, I'm done. I'm not making, I can't stand this community. But you didn't. You stuck in there. Positive things are happening. And you have a lot of good followers.
Immensely. And like I said, every time I get an order, it's like, dang, that's so cool. You know what I mean?
Cool. It is cool. It's my creation. It's this passion that was in me that I'm now giving to you, and you love it too. And that's such a positive place to be, because you're giving something to somebody else, and that's such a positive place to be. I love that. And that's what I love about the artistry that goes into this, is that you're giving your piece of art to somebody else, and then they're loving it too. You're like, hey, that's part of who I am. I gave it to you. Very cool. Very cool.
Right.
Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I went into that philosophical, religious piece that you're probably not supposed to.
James is just crying in the background.
He's like, oh no, Andy, will you shut up? Just shut up. But yeah, so I appreciate you coming on, Tyson. We're, you're one of my best friends in this community, and I know I have you too. Yeah. And so I'm so glad that we had an opportunity to talk, and I'm sure that we'll talk again, because, I have, like I said, I'm really trying to changing my format into focusing more on companies that I love. There's a lot of companies out there, but once I get kind of like, hey, this is my people, some of it's Southwest vibe, fisherman vibes, we're after the same type of, some of the same stuff.
And who doesn't? Whoa, you can't see it. That's too bright. Never mind.
What is it?
It's just my logo. I love my logo.
It is a cool logo, isn't it? It is a cool logo. I like everything about what you're doing there. You have any last words, James, that you have for any last thoughts for Tyson?
No, it's been a great chat. I think it went really nice. I was very happy with this.
Yeah, James, you're a stud. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. You too.
Yeah, and
make me cookies and send them to me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
You and Mrs. Bluegrass make amazing cookies, supposedly, but I don't know because you won't send them.
Cookies that are really good.
Look what I have to deal with. That's all I'm saying. No,
And
my
he has
wife makes good
kids.
cookies.
Do you know? Here's the problem: is that the cookies that you would get when you have 6 kids,
They're
you
gone.
know that they're gone.
Yeah.
They're gone.
I'm like, I woke up last week and we were like bought a bunch of store-bought, and I'm like, I'm kind of peckish. I want to get, so what happened to those cookies? And all I found was like boxes of empty cookies, empty cookie boxes. And I'm like, how in the heck do 2 grown kids and my son, who's 11, eat that many cookies in one sitting? And they're just like, oh, you got me. I'm like,
how are you not?
That's like 100 cookies. Yeah, that's 100 cookies. How did you guys
I just
do
look at them. I gained 20 pounds now. Like,
Right.
I know that's this age. I think that comes with our age, right, James? You start looking at food, and you're like, oh, I can feel the pounds already on there.
Look at it, whatever. Yeah, it's you gain weight.
Absolutely. Well,
Chris, I agree with you.
What did he say?
I'm hoping all guests on Bluegrass get a complimentary dozen cookies.
I know. That's what you got to do. I've been
with him.
I actually had Mel on my show. Me and Mel, and so she was on the show.
She's awesome.
She is super awesome. Yeah. I think that Ken's got himself. He's, sometimes you're shooting above your pay grade, and
I think her and my wife would get along really, really well.
I said that too because Christy is into the whole antique country stuff, and Mel had like a picture of her like country-ish looking shelf. And I was like, that is so Christy right there. They would like be perfect. They'd be like, hey, come on over. Come to Arizona. We'll hang out. You know, no problems. Fun times. So we'll leave it. So what's going on the next week, James?
Not too much. Still trying to put out some videos and do stuff around here. So it's busy. Trying to just keep it going, keep it moving.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
What's going on with Tyson? What do you have going on next week, next month?
So next week, I'm actually going to be on Ken's channel with Dave, and we're introducing Smoky Road.
Oh,
the one that I collaborated with specifically because I don't know how to make those scents well. And so I had it took me, like I said, 16 tries, but we got it. And I think everyone will like it who like that type of scent.
Very
and again, it's cannabis, bourbon, honey, vanilla, Cuban tobacco, and agar wood or oud, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, agar wood is yeah. Very good. That sounds so amazing. And oud is like that scent that is just like, it adds that extra cologne-y vibe to it.
Yeah, so the cannabis is the first thing that fades. It's the strongest in bottle, but the fastest fade. And then, like I said, that honey bourbon stays there with the Cuban tobacco, and then that starts to fade, and then it's just the Cuban tobacco the rest of the day. And it's a nice fruity Cuban tobacco pipe smell. It's really nice.
I love it. And next week we are having Boston Mike on. I don't know if James, you knew that, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so we have Boston Mike on next week.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
wow.
Mike is a blast. Have you ever talked to Boston Mike, Boston Beard Company, Tyson?
I have not.
Definitely check him out next week.
I will. I always come and watch you guys.
Yeah, cool.
And then make fun of James because he just stands there. He just sits there. But he's talking a lot today. But usually he's just back there like, hey guys, what you doing? Hey.
Sometimes it's on something I don't know a lot about. So I'm listening to them, and I'm learning stuff or whatever.
I have really, me and him have talked about that offline, and I'm like, James, I feel like I don't want to be the hog of the spotlight. This is a co-host. And so I've been working on I have another friend that kind of told me off this week and said, Andy, let somebody else talk sometimes. And I said, what do you mean? I talk too much? And they're like, yes, just a tad. So I'm working on that.
No,
So.
was that James who calls you? Told you that? It's
He
like,
probably did.
I need to be more of the spotlight.
Just a tad. Like, let me talk just a tad bit. So we're working through that. So
Yeah,
we're working through that.
Oh,
We're a
you
new
guys are
show. I mean, this is probably what, the 8th or 9th episode, maybe a little bit more, maybe 12th.
well,
But
it's
we're
fun to
getting
listen to.
We have a good time, and this the one thing is we're both hospitality majors, so we're hospitality guys. So I just enjoy the camaraderie of that piece. Very cool. So we have that, and then me and Caden we're doing an unboxing video. We did like a mega unboxing video today for Fall Scents, and then we had some other stuff that we bought in Tombstone recently. So we're kind of highlighting that. And then I have so many reviews to do, and I'm so behind on them.
I
just
know.
have to start doing them. I have
I'm
Copper
just
Johns. Yeah, I got Copper Johns out there. I got so many reviews to get done. It just seems like the problem is that Caden with online schooling has turned into like he can't do much.
Yeah,
because he's in online school.
It's been rough. Online school's been rough.
Yeah. And then when he gets done, you want him to play with his friends because he has no friend time at all with online school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he wants to play video games with his friends online. So just doing videos at night is really difficult too. So,
and I never pressure anyone to reviews. I'm just joking. You don't have to do a review or not.
Well, I do it because that's part of my love for the companies. Mm-hmm. It's fun to review them and say, hey, here's something cool, and then give a little bit of feedback. I'm not one of the destructive guys that says, hey, I found something wrong with your stuff, but I always give the feedback if I need to, but most everybody.
You should. And I know Chris is in here. I know he would take it as a constructive criticism if he has nothing wrong with his stuff. I love his stuff. I bought lots of his stuff. I like his stuff almost as much as I like mine. Like he has some good stuff.
He does have good stuff.
But if
he's changed his butter though. He did change his butter. I will say that
I'm excited to try it. I like his old stuff.
I like the old stuff that I think it was creamy, and I was just not used to it because it was so light, and it melted so quick. It was just like, I was like, whoa, that has a really low melting point. It's really good. I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of totally opposite of mine. Mine's really creamy but dense.
Yeah. Very different. Yeah, very different. And I loved it, and I love yours too. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing the innovation that he's coming up with, the newer stuff. So that's cool.
Yeah, if it's Chris, it's definitely good.
I know. He's sinking it. Both you guys are just like, they're killing it. New companies coming out and killing it. So, thank you again, Tyson, for coming on. I tell my wife this is supposed to be just an hour.
Right. I told my wife too, because we got to go shopping with my little son. Because we never do birthday presents until we go shopping. Like today's his birthday, and so we're going but it's early for us. It's late for James.
Yeah, it's late for James, early for me. Me and you are like at the 7:00 hour. So.
Yeah, so I'm just like whatever. So we're going to go and we're going to have a movie night and a game night, and we're going to go play. Have you ever heard Mafia?
No. What is that?
It's so stupid, but it's so much fun. Play it with your kids.
Is it a card game?
Yes, and so you get your cards, and so you have a Joker, who is like the mafia. Then you have the Jack, which he is the investigator, and then you have the Ace, who is the angel, and then the rest are just number cards. And so you put them all in a stack. You hand them out, and then everyone's head goes down. Once their head's down, there's going to be one person there, and say, "Hey." Okay, murder up or mafia up, and they'll look and they'll point to someone quietly and say that person's dead. Then you go down and say angel up, and they'll go save someone, and then everyone goes up, and the investigator says, "Okay, it's you," and then everyone has to say yes or no, and if that person is the murderer, then he's out and the game's over. But you slowly get rid of everyone except the murderer, and it's fun. You start laughing really hard because everyone keeps picking on me. It's fun.
That sounds like fun, especially with the amount of kids that you have. So you always have that time.
Oh yeah, it's fun when we start picking on one kid.
And then they just look at each other. It doesn't like me. Nobody likes me. And then they start, and then you always have that one super sensitive kid that you can't do that to, because if you do that, then they really do think that you don't like them. And then you're like, no, we really like you. We're just playing. This is just a game. It's just a game.
Right.
Just a game. Okay, Tyson. Well, we'll let you guys enjoy your son's 9th birthday. That's awesome. What a good time. So,
Yeah. Well, you have a wonderful night, and thanks for having me on. It was good talking to you, too.
Yeah, we'll do it again. We'll do it again.
Absolutely.
We'll talk to you soon.
All right. See you guys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you everybody for coming in.